Okay, the core. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Level Up Together, and where we come together and talk about level one concepts. I share my screen here. Today is March 31st, and today we'll be walking and talking through opposite of love, mirror exercise, peace process, etc. As we come towards the end of the first round going through the book. And let me share the screen. This meeting is being recorded, and by being here, you're giving me the permission to record you as I can share the recording with others who are not able to be here, or if anybody want to replay and rewatch. I'm a level four practitioner, and I'm here as your host. So we can host this too because everyone's insights help everyone else, as we were just talking about before I started the recording. Like everyone, we just all learn so much from each other. Such a wonderful place to be. So with that said, let's get started. I am page 133 in my level one book. So it should be thereabouts for you guys. And then we are on the opposite of love. And whoever would like to read, you can raise your hand and start reading. Go for it, Torian.
Awesome. Love is really another word for survival. This is the simplest form of how the brain operates. The entire limbic system is designed for survival. Your survival system keeps you in homeostasis where you belong. The prefrontal cortex, emotional thinking, does not like this. And then when there is a conflict with your consciousness and your unconsciousness, that is when you start making changes.
You want to share anything on that, Torian?
Uh, I agree with it. It has a whole. This is the thing that trips me out about this specific thing, is because if you go, I've been like really deep in this book this weekend, so like the page, like I'm starting to like make connections of this. Oh, it's right here. Ha! I had it marked. It has like the same definition, but worded a little different on page 34, and it's just
Hmm.
interesting because it's just like the one that we're reading now is just a lot more like condensed. And I guess this is
Yes.
perfect that I was here to ask this question. Um, like obviously, like understanding the whole thing, like understand like the whole part of it, but like which one do you go by? Because they do differ a little,
Okay, so let's
and
see, where do they differ?
it's just like one goes a lot more into it, I guess. And I'm just a little confused which one would be the important thing to.
Um, so let's just read through both of them. You want to read the first one too? Let's see.
Sure. I sorry, I just noticed it today or yesterday, and it was throwing
Yeah.
me off so hard.
Okay, let's read both of them. Would you like to read the
Okay,
page 34?
sure. Love is really another word for survival is the same. At its simplest form, the entire limbic system is designed for survival based on the brain's operational system, limbic system plus. Your survival system keeps you in homeostasis where you belong, what it knows to be true and safe. Prefrontal cortex logical thinking may not like this because love has been made into something more than survival, but the truth is love, survival, and emotional reactions keep you safe and feeling in place.
Right.
So basically this first one just focuses on like the love. Uh love is like survival and emotional reactions keep you safe. But this one is like talking about how when there's a conflict with your consciousness and unconsciousness, that's when you start making changes. So I guess my question here is if I see this going forward, how would I? which one would I emphasize more if I had to pick
The
words?
prefrontal cortex does not like this. And then there's a conflict with your unconscious and conscious. This is where you start making changes. Okay.
You
Um,
see, my love is just like it's slightly different, and I don't know. I guess it's just the perception, whatever inside of me that was just like this doesn't.
yeah. I just you can just take it in different contexts, you know. So like if we're talking about the first one, I would see it as love is just another word for survival. And so perhaps, for example, um, if if our mom raised it in a certain way and we didn't feel like it was love, but for her, you know, in her definition, love is this, that you have to be a certain way or she has to treat you a certain way because she's loving us in the best way she knows and she wants us to survive. So she's teaching us to be a certain way and do certain things. She's loving us the best way she can, right? And so, but the prefrontal cortex may not like it because love has been made into like, you know, from movies, you know, Hollywood, whatever. This is what love is, you know, poetry. We think that's what love is, but love is all about survival. And so then there's a conflict like mom didn't love me because she wasn't like this, you know? Um, and so then there's this conflict based on that, um, etc. But in the second one, it says the survival system keeps you in homeostasis where you belong. The prefrontal cortex does not like it. And then there's a conflict with your conscious and unconscious. This is where you start making changes. So it's kind of pretty much the same that, you know, like what we know or we believe that love should be like, but then how we experienced it, that did not feel like love. And so we noticed that and okay, there's a conflict there. And so we start making the changes, um, you know, because,
Okay.
you know, there was nothing wrong with how mom loved us. That was just love as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't like it. Just be like, you know, for us, perhaps we want to experience love in a different way, and everyone comes to, you know, the planet Earth expecting a different form of love, you know, because we have different love languages. But maybe mom, for example, did not have the same love language, you know, and so here's
Okay.
a conflict, you know.
Okay.
Anyone else? Yeah, Susan.
Yeah, I like your illustration of the love languages, but the universal language of love is survival. So that intelligent idiot, it's all about love of self, survival. And to stay in that system of origin that we grew up in, we had to create coping mechanisms that don't serve us as adults. So that's where our prefrontal cortex, the saboteur, comes in. I don't like that. I want to be different. I want to be loved in a different way. I want to show up differently. But our unconscious, that survival brain that was programmed, is saying, no, this is love. This is survival this way, if I understand it right.
Definitely. I think so too. Yeah, Sherry.
Unmute myself. So, when we read this, your survival system keeps you in homeostasis where you belong. That really ticked me off because I thought, no, I don't belong where I was raised. I don't belong in all that dysfunction, blah, 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 blah. Just putting love aside for a minute. I mean, everything you said is, everybody said is so accurate and true. But looking at it outside of even the love aspect, like you were raised this way. This is why we have a hard time changing our memories and rewriting them. Yep. Yep. But now I know in my prefrontal cortex that this is not, fine, it was where it was, but it's not where it needs to be now, not where it should have been, not where it can be, not where it will be. So this statement, this is where you belong. No wonder my battle is so big with my subconscious because it's trying to tell me this is where you belong. And I'm saying, oh no, I don't. And so just it's kind of how to put that in sharper focus. We've got this is why you have to become friends with yourself. This is why you have to, bring these two together. And yes, I understand you were keeping me safe, but that's old programming. That's old childhood when I didn't think like I can think now. I didn't know what I know now. So come on, you sweet little subconscious. Catch up with me. Let's be friends because you are flat out wrong.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. And then yes. Yeah. And then we grew up with, that was just their definition of
yeah,
survival and love, right?
yeah,
But we don't have to have that. We can change that.
does not work
And
for me. What worked for my mother does not work for me.
exactly.
Fine. She got to live her life. She got to do all of that. I get to do it different.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Exactly. Torian, what do you think?
I agree. Like, yeah, what you like doing things what work for like my mom definitely doesn't work for me and everything. And like you just have to sort out the different like because like I like what she said about the homeostasis, like not wanting to stay in homeostasis of like where you grew up and everything. It's like that's not where you want to or where I want to be anyway. Like I like my new normal, not my old normal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Anyone else? Any insights on that? Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, the opposite of love is still love. Opposite of love is love. Yeah. Hey, Susan.
Yeah, love is love, hate is love, fear is love, because at the root, all of those emotional states are about survival. So, love of self again.
Exactly. It's all love of self. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If we hate something, then we're still loving ourselves. If we fear something, it's about self-love. Yeah. Opposite of love is love. Yeah. And it's really interesting to think that, it's like we say something, oh, I love this or I love you, but it's all about kind of self-love, we love them because they treat us in a certain way, all that stuff, or they do something for us. That's why we love them. It's about self-love, self-survival. If we hate something, self-survival. So interesting to think about. All right. Shall we move on to the famous mirror exercise? Who would like to read? Sherry.
Okay, here we go. My least favorite part of this whole book. The best thing you can do to live a happy life you love.
You got muted, Sherry.
Probably good. No,
She doesn't
sorry.
she hates it that much.
Questions.
Okay. Okay. The best thing you can do to live a happy life you love is to love yourself. This, above all else, is the ultimate determining factor in your level of happiness in life. When you love yourself, you take care of yourself, which includes mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. One of the greatest challenges we face today is that of accepting our bodies as they are. Far too many of us hate our bodies, davvero, and are constantly striving to mold them into something they are not. Where's my facelift? We cause much harm to ourselves by doing this, when acceptance and self-love would bring about the happiness we're seeking. Although it makes sense to fully and completely love and accept all aspects of yourself, you have to start somewhere. And what a great place to start is by learning to love your body. I still can't get over this part. What better way to start than by loving the skin you're in? Okay. Yeah. And I know these exercises. I haven't got much past my ankles. And I've been tapping on this sucker, it seems like since the Lord's Supper. And about the time I'll think, I think I have it down now. Then I'll walk by a mirror and go, oh no.
No.
I'm working on it. Yeah. So, and I think too, because we're all women and we live in this society that our model is supposed to be this young, gorgeous girl, young being the key. And I think it's, well, of course, y'all are all real young. But as your body starts to go, hey, you know, those little perky things you had, we're leaving. Hey, guess what? What's going to happen now? You know, and you just go, oh my gosh, where's my money for that boob lift? Wow, and why? I mean, you know, it's the whole thing. And I think I'm getting much better. But yes, I do have to tap a lot. And actually, I did get up to my thighs, and I'm okay with my
Good.
thighs. It's just as we go further up that I go, oh, holy moly, what's this? But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Soon I will die, and who will care? So it's okay. Moving on. Do I need to keep reading? Because I'm just going to wax eloquently about this thing called looking up your body, because it's very uncomfortable. Non voglio fare discosto. Okay. Scusa.
Oh, let's see.
Okay,
Anybody else?
I'm
Anyone
out.
else wants to share? Susan,
Yeah,
did you
it's
share?
interesting. Something that in an audiobook I was listening to, how we, when we're born, when we're toddlers, we don't think about those rolls of fat on our thighs and our tubby little belly, but all the media and how we're socialized until it's so deeply ingrained that we don't like ourselves anymore. Children, toddlers don't care. They're tubby and we love those little fat legs and fat bellies and those fat little cheeks. But then there's that shift as we come into puberty, even before now. So it's a constant battle. I've been through the mirror exercise a couple of times and I have to keep going back. And looking back when I was younger, I thought I was fat. 40 pounds later, yeah, it's just the distortion that we have based on what we're fed in the media, in magazines, commercials with each other. I think it's a continuing battle for that self-love and acceptance of our skin and our flesh and our dimples and our sags, our bags, and all that continues as we get older.
It is. Anyone else? Hey, Sasha.
It's funny because it's this particular year, I've actually had to grapple a lot with, like the changes in my body. And yesterday I was at a baby shower for one of my friends' daughter who's, having a baby and stuff like that. And I don't know, like I haven't seen her in a while. We grew up together, but I haven't seen her in a while. And she is 2 years older than me. So but the face was so different, right? Like, I mean, it's like I'm still at the point where it's like I'm starting to get like maybe like a little line here, and I got a comment from another friend. She's like, oh, go do Botox and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that to my body. Like, I want to get to a point where it's like I accept myself for who I am, because like these changes are going to happen, sooner or later. I think I have good genetics in that sense. Like my mother, what I was looking at, we necessarily don't look our age and stuff like that. But it was just a shock to see my friend who I grew up with, her face was so different. There were so many different lines. And this is someone who's a health freak. Like, she doesn't indulge in that hamburger like I do. And so I mean it's like someone that's very much taken care of. I barely started a skincare routine, which I like never did before. And she had a skincare in high school. So it's like, so there's a lot of things I took for granted that now I'm like trying to take care of. But I'm definitely going to do this mirror exercise because a lot of it has to do with those transitions and those ages, and you have this idea of what you're supposed to look like. And for me specifically, like my muscle strength, right? It's like, what am I able to do? And then your body's like, well, you can't really do that anymore per se, because, this will happen or this will start aching and stuff like that, which I thought was BS when my mom would say it, but now I'm like, damn it, I should have listened. So it's like all of these care routines, it's like now you're lifting weights when before it was so boring. And you're watching what you eat. And so it's really being able to do those changes without being salty about it. Do you know what I mean? Without really clinging to this idea of who you were of the past, and really accepting and seeing the world, through who you are now, and obviously what you're going to be later. But who do you want to be later? You see these people, and they're carrying like 300 pounds of weight, and they started earlier and stuff like that. I'm like, how do I get there? Do I want to get there? And what's the time commitment to get there? So it's like, so it's really organizing where you're putting your energy and where you want to be in the future, and like creating those things now, but without being salty about it, without feeling like you're forcing yourself to do that. Like, how do you make it enjoyable? You know what I mean? It's like embracing every cycle that you go through. How do you make that enjoyable? So I guess I have more questions than anything.
Yeah, no, those are good questions. It's like we can all ask ourselves those questions. And I guess, it's like about the whole mirror exercise is about like looking in the mirror and wherever we are, however we look, just have an acceptance for ourselves, still loving ourselves because we are not our body, you know, and our body is just a reflection of our emotional mind, our mental state, our thoughts, our past, our beliefs. And so judging the body, judging it by looking in the mirror that, oh, we look a certain way. No, this is just what we're experiencing inside is what's showing in the body. And so I think that's the more basic precise, no, whatever, the basic concept of the mirror exercise is, it's like our body is a reflection, a mirror of our inner state, of our thoughts, of our memories. Hey, Sherry.
Well, never mind all the beauty stuff aside, I think too, well, for me right now and I tend to think that what I'm doing, the whole world is doing, but I also don't watch the news. So I'm thinking that more and more we're becoming more aware of what has helped me as I am going up through this is I have to keep reminding myself that I can still walk, and I can still breathe, and I can still lift, and I can still move, and I can still think. And changes are going to come. And I think when it took me a whole bunch of years to finally go, oh yeah, I'm going to change. And I think every time I go back home and I see people who are around my age, I go, good Lord Almighty, are you in a nursing home yet? I mean, I really think, yeah. So I think that going up my body, and I haven't done this one in a long time because I get so worked up about it. I have to put it away and go drink a bottle of wine. I mean, a glass of wine or something, and then everything's better. But I think this personally for me is one of the harder things to do, because it's one thing to accept and make the changes in your mind and do all of those things and feel so great. But then all at once, the stark reality of, oh, wow, I think for me personally, once I overcome this and I can get through that, then my life will be molto bene adesso. But right now it's like, so.
Right.
Okay, I'm out.
Yes. You're amazing. But also like, as Susan was saying, we don't judge a baby for having all those roles and whatever not. And then it's just programming of we should always be looking a certain way. We shouldn't have any wrinkles and, this and that all over our body because it's just the programming of a stereotype that we should be looking like. And I guess just, self-love and accepting where we are and loving ourselves for what we have, who we are. Hey, Torian.
I guess I have a question about that.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so I guess I'm different from I am getting plastic surgery. Most of my friends already have fillers. I don't yet, but because thank God I don't need them yet. But I have one on the books already for like when I want. Do you consider that not self-love if you want to change it?
No, I don't, just depends. If you look at yourself, um, and if you are not loving yourself, or are you just doing because, you just want to be a certain way?
It's because I want to
Um,
look a certain. It's because I like that look, and it's more of a
yeah,
like, and it'll help with health things down the line. Bro, it's all ladies in here, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, okay. I
No,
was like making
ladies.
sure there's sometimes there's good guys in here. I was like, I'm getting my boobs lifted because I am a very tiny you can't tell from you can see me. I'm a tiny lady and I have it like and they are bigger than they should be and it's gonna help my back, but I feel like I'm sometimes betraying that thing of self-love because I have really started to love my body, but it's gonna help me in the long term of that. And like I guess I was just like wondering if like what your thoughts or anybody else's thoughts of like is that
Are
still
are you
self
having them reduced or increased?
just lifted up and reduced a little
Okay.
bit. Just
Oh,
so
well,
they're
that's
not
probably good.
just
That's
so
how that
it makes my
yeah,
back go like this instead of like
yeah.
this.
Well, that's for health reasons. I think you should do that.
Okay.
Thankfully there's a procedure that you can do that. But
Okay.
and God bless you for having all those. You took mine. Good job.
That's what my friends say. I should give them some. But yeah, no, I've been struggling with that because like I've been really working on self-love and everything. And um I am getting a procedure and I just like I don't know. I just that makes me feel better than someone else says like it's still self-love, right? Of like because I still love
Yes.
myself how I am now. It's just I needed a change and I like the change and even so
Mm. Yeah, I think as long as you're like not uh hating yourself for it, or you're, whatever, if you can accept yourself in either way, in either, before and after, and it's all good. Yeah.
okay.
Sherry, Sherry, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I'm all for it. Do whatever you want, whatever you can. If you can afford it, I say do it. Because no guilt, no judgment, go for it. Because this doesn't preclude working on loving yourself. You're going to love yourself. You're going to keep on working, and maybe this helps you get there a little faster than to do it. You know,
Oh,
but the point is you could get, any of us could get some particular surgery and wouldn't do any good. I've so it's still got to come from the inside. And they'll start working
Mhm.
on the inside and you'll be fine. I heard of this plastic surgeon uh did this fantastic nose job on this one lady. I mean, gorgeous, looked day and light different. She looked in the mirror and cried and said, "You didn't fix it."
Oh,
And he was like, I mean, she wanted her money back. And everybody around her was saying, "Oh my gosh, your nose is gorgeous." She couldn't see it.
okay. So it's more of a like body. This
Yeah, you still got to work on your
So,
body image. I mean, don't think that the surgery is going to fix it if you don't fix the inside.
see, yeah, I feel like I've fixed a lot of the inside. I just felt like I don't know.
So
I
you're
guess
ready.
betraying isn't the right word, but like
You know,
betraying the work I've done.
I don't know, you're adding to it and you're taking it to the next level. You just have the right attitude. It'd be kind of like fixing something in your house. Like, I'm gonna do a new deck. Well, there's really nothing wrong with the old deck, but I mean, it works good. It looks, but why wouldn't I fix it up and make it nice if I can afford it? Why wouldn't you fix it up and make it nice if you can afford it? Why wouldn't you? You do it all the time with your clothes, your house, your car, your this, your that. Well, why not your body?
I like that perspective. Thank you.
Yeah. Sasha, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I think like for me, like I would have more like a question. It's like, why are you doing it, right? Because I mean, it's like at the end of the day, that's I feel gonna give you the peace that you need to go along with it. You know, just being really honest with yourself. Am I doing it for aesthetics? Am I doing it for somebody else? Or am I doing it for my personal health? And based on that, I mean, you know, come to terms with whichever one that is. I mean, either one of those three doesn't really matter, as long as you come to terms and are at peace with that. Because that is true. It's like we change so many other things. Like it's like how many times does you know, your clothes change, you know, or some people like to switch up cars like every 3 years, they get a lease. And so like there's so many other things that you can change. And you know, the more like they do research on stem cells and stuff like that, like there's like facial features. Like my jaw is going to change in about a year because of a defect that I have in my throat and stuff like that. And so, but that's going to kind of change my face and it's going to be painless. You know, it's going to go through like lasers and stem cell and stuff like that. And it's like, and it's all for health. It's not aesthetic, but there is going to be an aesthetic component that's going to be in place. But for me, it's more of down the line that's going to help me breathe better and it's going to help my asthma, you know. So it's like, so there's health benefits to it. The aesthetics just kind of play into it. So I'll just have a stronger jaw, I guess. Um, and for you, yeah, I mean, it's like, why are you doing it? Get clear on that. And whatever it is, I assume just kind of like releasing. Because it's true, like what Sherry says is, if you're not ready for those changes on the inside, you could do whatever you want, but you're constantly going to be fighting your subconscious to kind of get you back to that set of who you think you are. Um, but once you see it here, the other stuff just kind of, I assume and I hope come naturally.
Thank you.
I guess in my like how I see is like, is it going from one haircut you like to another haircut you like? Or is it like the lady that Sherry was giving an example is, she didn't like her nose. She hated her nose. She goes to the surgeon. Oh, you didn't fix it because she still hates her nose,
Mhm.
right? But if you love yourself and then you just want to do something for a certain look or how you want to feel in your body, feel better, like, you know, holding yourself straighter, if you're still loving yourself and you're still loving yourself now, I don't think there's any problem with that. But then also, like, if you look at um in one of these books, breasts are and I don't know, like smaller or bigger, but it's all about nurturing, loving ourselves and loving others from that, believing that um or I guess the bad part about the breast is believing that you don't deserve to receive from others or to be supported and nurtured. So just, just make sure there's none of that there, just clean up any of that lack of nurturing or needing more nurturing, not nurturing ourselves, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, certainly.
Thank you guys so much. You've helped a lot.
Of course. Mhm. Yes, absolutely. Awesome. That was a really wonderful discussion, I think. And I believe it's going to help a lot of people because a lot of us go through that. Definitely. So who would like to read next?
Where do you start?
We are at this paragraph. The following exercise can be done mentally or in front of a mirror.
Um,
In the mirror exercise, yeah.
is it 135 or like one?
134, 135, yeah. Mhm.
One of the greatest it makes full to complete the following. Okay, yeah, I can read that. So all of them are just like the top part, and then like number one. Like, what do you?
I guess the paragraph before that.
Okay. The following exercise can be done mentally or in front of a mirror. It is often easier to begin mentally and move on to doing the mirror work. If you are comfortable enough with your body to do this in the mirror, start here. The same applies for clothed versus unclothed. Start where you feel safe.
You want to go ahead or do you want to say something about that, Sasha?
No, I mean I've been doing something similar to like standing in the mirror and saying I love you and I love myself. And I think the first 2 days that I did it, I've been doing it for about 3 weeks now, but the first 2 days that I did it, I had clothes and now I'm like up to my underwear. And so it's like I do it first thing in the morning. It's like I give myself some love and tell me that. But it was interesting the progression from 1 week to the other. Like right now, like I feel a lot more comfortable with my body, which makes me feel a lot more comfortable with people. And then there's this whole thing of like before, it's like I had a very negative image of my body. And now, and mind you, I've tapped on a lot of different things, but I look at it and I'm like, I look good, like, I look sexy. And so it's like that conversation inside of me has definitely like changed. And so I'm excited to do this one.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Would you like to continue reading on that or?
Sure. Close your eyes and feel your body. Become aware of what it feels like to be in it, noticing any feelings about it. Two, imagine looking down at your toes, noticing any negative feelings you may have about them. Three, if you feel any feelings or emotions other than love, follow the standard tapping process. Notice how you know it's bad. Suds, tap, peace anchor, defrac, then notice how it changed. Repeat this process until it's good. Number 4, systematically move up the front of your body, tapping on all parts that you feel anything but love, far as you go. Tops of feet, skin, knees, thighs, hips, groin, abdomen, rib cage, chest, shoulders, arms, hands, neck, face, and each part of your face, hair. Number 5. Now repeat the process from the backside, starting with your heels up to the calves, back of knees, back thighs, buttocks, lower back, back shoulders, arms, hands, neck, and hair. 6. Finally, notice the profound feelings of love you now have for your body. Thank it for all that it does for you. It is your temple, and you have created it to be what it is. Forgive yourself for abusing it in any way that you have. It has done its job exactly as you have directed. 7. If you feel any upset at how you have treated yourself, tap on that until it is good. Repeat the entire process in front of a mirror, clothed, then unclothed. This is one of the most profound ways of healing your self-image.
Did that pop up for you, Sasha, there? Anything else?
No, I mean it's I could definitely see that I still have like some resistance to this because I was imagining doing this. So obviously there's still some work to be done. But at the same time, I do think that it's very true. Like it does heal your self-image, just from the work that I've done with other stuff for like the past 3 weeks. So I'm excited to see what this does for me.
Definitely. Anyone else? Hey, Susan.
Yeah, it's very powerful, that wording. Notice if you feel anything but love, not just neutral or I'm okay with that, or my favorite is I appreciate my body, but that's not love. That's just appreciation. So that's not far enough to be considered love. It's different. I can appreciate somebody I don't even like. So yeah, to me that was like really hit me in the forehead. Hey, woman, you're not loving yourself.
Yes, thank you. Definitely. Yeah. Anyone else? for me, it was like, thank you for all it does for you. It is your temple, and you have created it to be what it is. Forgive yourself for abusing it in any way that you have. It has done its job exactly as you have directed. So it's really interesting, you know. It's like it is there. It's like, you know, the body is our I don't want to use the word servant, but it is, you know, it is just doing what we have directed it to do. It is coming from our mind, our subconscious, and all that stuff. So it's powerful. Anyone else? This would be fun to do this week. I'm gonna start over. I haven't done it in a long time, but yeah, I think it's a really powerful exercise. Yeah. Anyone else has anything to add to it? So we can move on to the peace process. It's quiet around here. Sherry Neal, you had a lot to say about the mirror exercise.
About what?
The mirror exercise. You
Yes,
have
I
anything
did.
else? Anything else to add
No,
there? Yeah.
I've said it all. I mean, and I have to start over. I'll put
Yes,
that on my list of many to-dos. It'll be great.
I think it would be good. I'm gonna start over again, even if like we take 5 minutes, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah, definitely. All right, who would like to read the peace process? Sherry.
The peace process, yeah, is a systematic approach to making peace with yourself, your beliefs, judgments, attitudes, your past, everyone in your life, and everything negative that has ever happened to you. It's how you change your successful, undesirable outcomes into successful, desirable outcomes. Start the peace process by making a list of your negative memories and experiences called the peace list. This prepares your unconscious mind for change. Review your life in detail and write down every negative experience you can remember. The traumas, the hurts, the fears, guilts, misunderstandings, rejections, betrayals, everything. Write down every experience that you think has contributed to your unhappiness or lack of fulfillment today. Remember your problems too. Can we keep reading?
Is there anything on that, Sherry?
No, this is a good reminder. For some reason, came up with a long list of memories when I first started, and I thought I changed a lot of them. And I thought, oh, as I was reading this, I thought going to stages in my life, everything negative that has happened to me, taking this in categories and even the experiences that I think have contributed to my unhappiness. It's just kind of, oh, I think I'm going to go back and write out some more stuff. Because something cropped up the other day. I thought, why in the world haven't I worked on that one before? That was huge. So, I get focused like, okay, I had this long list and I can't do anything else until I get all these taken care of, which is really not true. I would serve myself well to go back and start writing some more in categories or however this is suggested
Yes.
doing.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Would you
And
like to continue reading?
yeah, because I
And
think the
yeah.
paragraph is
Oh,
saying,
sorry, Sasha, you had something to add?
Yeah, I can't find it in my manual. What page is it on?
Oh, we are on page 135. Is it still there?
it
It's
is
114 on mine.
Oh,
134.
114. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay,
134 on mine.
let me see. 114. The
Peace
peace process.
process, peace.
Yeah,
Yes.
so 114, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, now
interesting.
I can follow
Okay.
along. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
At or before birth, including important situational factors you were born into. Organize it. You can do it in chronological order or you can organize it by significance. It might be easiest if you begin with experiences that come to mind easily. Some of the main categories to consider are people, family members, brother picked on you, father beat you, authority figures, coach screamed at you, teacher embarrassed you, peers, people who made fun of you, lovers, friends, people coming and going in your life, abuse, emotional. Whoa, there's a lot. Physical, sexual, bullying or other teasing, relationships, adolescence, socialization, romance, love, first or significant sexual experiences, first boyfriend, girlfriend, marriages, divorces, traumatic events, accidents, either in or witnessed, grief, loss, family deaths, parents, siblings, grandparents, partners, children, friend, peers, deaths, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, others who had an impact on you, including celebrities and leaders and musicians, pets. Note specific incidences and experiences, not the general problem. Keep it simple in bullet point format. Give each event a short title and state the emotions experienced. Your mind knows what happened, so you don't need to write it all out in detail. If you don't know the specific incidents at the root of the current problem, maybe they happened when you were too young to remember. Just write down what you think could have happened. Your guesses will be surprisingly accurate, and you can still eliminate the emotional drivers. Boy, that's comprehensive.
Okay. Actually, like my book has a huge, much bigger list here.
Really?
How about you? Yeah.
Huh.
Who has the latest book? Who would like to read?
So,
How about other Sherry? Sherry Neal, do you have one of the newest books?
think so. Interpersonal relationships, family members that brother picked on you. They give examples of each one. All traumas, little and major, school experiences, coach screamed at you, etc. Religious trainings, experiences, somebody shamed you, the preacher, early sexual exposure with kids, blah, blah, blah. Fight, flight, or freeze, abuses, emotional, mental, physical, illnesses, sicknesses, all of them. Accidents, injuries, stories parents or others told you. She calls those false memories. Personal relationships, first loves, romance, etc. Work experience, authority figures, government agencies, institutions, pregnancy, childbirth. I always found this fascinating that both men and women can have related trauma, but really, that's so true. In-laws and outlaws, grief and loss, all these people and even dogs, all endings, business experiences, financial money experiences, your body and image. Yeah. Dreams, nightmares. Wow, I just got triggered by something. Okay. Dreams, nightmares, TV shows, movies, food experiences, eating, dieting, allergies, addictions, stressors, daily affirmations, I am statements, which they could be good or bad. Obviously, your future, anything and everything you have a conflict with. So it is a very inclusive list. I think it's almost everything. I'm sure there's something that will pop up, but yeah, somebody knows a lot about life. So
Sherry, I can take a picture of my book of these pages and send it to you because if you have an older one, there's a lot of things in here. Yeah, there's so much stuff that we can just keep writing and writing, right? Yes, definitely. Yeah. Anyone has any other categories or anything else to share like that pop up for you? Or anything else as we read the book, we anything that triggers, anything that's triggered, we write that down too. Yeah. Cool. Anyone like to share anything else about it? Hey, Susan.
I was a bit surprised to read Dreams and Nightmares, but that does make sense because they are frightening sometimes, and some of them are repetitive or have a repetitive pattern of or a theme. So it makes sense. That's very insightful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the unconscious always doesn't exactly tell us exactly what the problem is, but it gives us a metaphor in form of a dream or a nightmare. And those are a metaphor for a problem. So, I've like tapped on some dreams several times. I would wake up and it's like, oh, what was that about? Sometimes you don't even know what that was about. You start thinking about it or tapping on it, the meaning comes through. It's like, what is it that I'm resisting or holding on to, or it's still lingering in there. So yeah, dreams and nightmares are a good one. And I'm not doing it right now, but in the past, just, keeping a dream journal. And it's like soon as you wake up, and because it's fresh when you wake up, and but as the day goes by, you forget. So just write it down right away. They actually make a little pen with a little light on it, so like it lights up. So you don't have to turn your lights on. You just like write it down. Yeah. Anyone else? Anything you would like to share on that?
I think like to the one that talks about like dreams, because my mind talks to me a lot in dreams. So and oddly enough, I've only had like two nightmares, but I can remember those two nightmares very well. So that's definitely on the list of things to get through. But I'm also like big into like daydreaming and just like really imagining a lot of things. And so it's like I think that that would also be too like the stories that that you kind of created that have kind of left the mark, and just like really dissolving those and getting rid of those.
Certainly. That's really good. It sounds like you're really in touch with the unconscious is giving you. So that's really wonderful. And you
Yeah.
can write those down too. Yeah. No, that's really good. Perfect. Anyone else? We can read the next section, reality. Who would like to read? We still have a few more minutes. Oh, you don't have it in your books, Sasha?
Oh,
Actually,
it's
wait,
not next
not
to
reality.
process.
Your brain, the control center. Sorry. Yes. Do you have that?
I'll try to find it.
Okay. It's called Your Brain, the Control Center. Sherry Neal, you found it. How about everyone else? Yeah. Would you like to read, one of you? Whoever found it?
Try 137, Sasha. That's what my
Okay.
book says.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Who would like to read? Your Brain, the Control Center. Okay, go for it, Sasha. Thank you.
Each person's brain has the same basic structural anatomy, but from birth. Your unique experiences and environment begin to program your neurology. You encode the information you're exposed to in your own way. There is no other brain in the world like yours. Like a computer, your brain has an operating system or a systematic patterned approach to processing sensory input. We take in information through our five senses: sight, visual, sound, auditory, touch, kinesthetic, smell, olfactory, that, taste, gustatory, and VAKOG. These sensory experiences are stored as pictures, sounds, feelings, tastes, and smells in our brains. When you have new experiences, your brain will do a Google search seeking how to encode this new input. The input is compared to our past references, experiences, attitudes, beliefs, and values, and is then filed accordingly. From this, we create our own unique programs that we unconsciously operate from until we learn a new program.
Hmm. Would you like to share anything on that, Sasha?
Well, it's interesting because one of the like, and I don't know if this applies to that, but there's a friend who I grew up with. And he's very handsome and stuff like that. But I remember him as a kid, and he was very athletic, and he would go into, he'd come into the apartment, he'd take a shower. Like we grew up like brothers and sisters. But he would take a shower, and I remember him when he opened the door. It was the most foul smell of sweat, which I could never understand because he was in the shower. Years later, he tells me that he would just like shower, but he wouldn't actually like use soap. And I'm like, okay, that explains it. But it's like one of those smells that I can't get out of my, like when I see him, that is part of the Google search. That smell comes like right now, I am smelling him when I was a kid, right? And it's like, and it's interesting how that just that stays. Like I can't get rid of it, even if I wanted to. It's part of his file system when I think of him.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But he's very handsome, and it doesn't go with how I see and perceive him in my senses. Yeah.
Right. So funny. Yes. Anyone else? Hey, Terry.
That's just a really good example of how our brain operates. Just thanks for sharing that. I mean, I think, yeah, whatever was put in there, we just bring it right back out, like beyond sophisticated computer. And just keep that in mind all the time that you're drawing from all kinds of stuff, very complicated. No wonder it's hard to move forward sometimes. It's a lot
So
that
true.
changed. So,
It's so true. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then also I like this statement that this input is compared to our past references, experiences, attitudes, beliefs, and values, and then filed accordingly. So as we are doing the work and we're changing our past experiences, and then new experiences come, we are not comparing it to perhaps the old one, but what we choose to compare it to, you know?
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anyone else on this? Anything you'd like to share? Insights, examples? Yeah, that's a really interesting example, Sasha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. No computer would hold on to the olfactory data for a person.
Crazy.
No, he's the only person I can remember still smelling. I mean, it's not like but it was such a poignant smell. Like it was just it like left a mark. I could never understand how he could come out of the shower and still smell like sweat. But I got closure years later.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This was really good discussion, everyone. Definitely. Yeah, really appreciate you guys being here. Next week is, I don't know what date it is, but let's find out. Next week is April 7th, and let's go through the reality as if it's real. What is NLP? What is hypnosis? Triggers and anchors. And that kind of, and then we have the glossary. The glossary's got some good fun stuff to read through too. We can certainly do that. All right. Thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you.
You guys have a good week ahead.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
see
you.
you next week.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.